I have to say, for being as colorful and cheerful as this show actually is, the way they can more or less say, hey, kids are casually stealing points and leaving others for dead, and I mean, they literally go and show at the end of the episode that our two boys, they are without a doubt the biggest targets right now because steal their vase, their leaf, I mean, you're set for the game. And even if they don't necessarily get left for dead, like that poor guy, I mean, it was like one of the first scenes of the episode. You see this dude just like getting strangled by like a vegetable plant of some sort, and someone's just running off to cash in the points. As then, of course, our girl comes in and charms her way to steal the points right there. But, I mean, this show is brutal, but in a very colorful way. And I think that's one of the charms about this series, right? Because the whole netherworld and what it takes to win and be number one and be the Demon King someday, there needs to be some demonic ways you get to that W, but at the same time, I love how they never go edgy with any of these things, but I can't help but get a kick out of the nonsense that we get to witness in any given moment. I mean, you literally have the only person who has 0 points as of the announcement of what's going on is our poor boy who they don't even know if he's alive or dead right now. But I have to say, seeing Teach, more or less play favorites, he would never admit to it, but I think everyone and their mother knows, like, he's literally saying, like, this boy annoys me, Iruma just makes me so mad, but after everything he's seen over, like, 2.5 seasons worth of content, without a doubt he knows if there's one idiot in his class that would be able to go from 0 points to winning, it's probably Iruma, so he's going to challenge him to do better, but he's going to insult him all the way to the home stretch, and I really like that about the whole dynamic going on. But the fact that for honestly feeling like the most demonic, but also the most wholesome and hilarious that this show's ever been, the Harvest Festival is without a doubt just living up to the hype that people were setting out even back in Season 2. Hell, I think I even remember one person mentioned it in Season 1 at one point. But the fact of the matter is, we're seeing characters absolutely crush it. Night after night, day after day, it feels like all these characters, you look at what they're doing and you say, they could win. And, I mean, I was under the assumption originally that the pairings, basically, they shared the points. But no, the way they're announcing the points, without a doubt, one person getting eliminated should, in theory, allow the other person and the partner to more or less continue on. So the fact that our one boy who did get eliminated for attacking another student, it does make me wonder if the other has a plan to get points back in some way, or maybe he hit someone too and that's why he's eliminated. But the fact of the matter is, when you look at a girl who is basically, she has a harem of animals that are just collecting so many points for her, and she's not even leaving her throne. That's literally queen status, and she is doing it with grace. You have characters who are using their manipulative aura to basically get all the points because people will just give it with a grim, which is the cliffhanger they use to leave us off because, I mean, our poor boy's like, no matter what happens, I will die for this, and then he's like, oh Lord, have mercy, I will not be able to withstand this. So maybe the direction they'll go is Iruma will meet up with him and then he'll have to, like, they'll work to get it back sort of a thing. But either way, I mean, that bow's probably going to have to be put to use sooner rather than later, and I'm excited to see what people will do because all the things that were happening with Iruma over the past couple of episodes, he was just down in a cave. They weren't able to monitor him. So if he does some crazy stuff, I mean, they're already impressed that the way he made an entrance was a vine nuclear disaster. Like, the whole earthquake was happening and then it was just an explosion of vines because he used his blood to basically amplify everything. But I'm just like, this show has such an excitement about it, but it's so basic and comfy all at the same time. And to see how each of these characters are using their demonic skills to get the job done, I mean, Iruma's an interesting case because he's human, so, like, little things like he can't fly out of there, so, our little snow run's trying to, like, carry him up. But at the same time, he does things that only he would do, and it kind of feels demonic in its own way. Like, using your blood on some sort of vegetation to launch a giant, like, bridge to Narnia. Like, I mean, how do you not say, like, that's not kind of demonic given he literally used blood to do it? So he kind of fits in his own kind of twisted way, and I really enjoy what they're doing right now. Similar to all the ongoing shows that air on the weekend because it fell on New Year's break there, so we had to wait an extra week for this episode, and I have to say this without a doubt was worth the wait. One of the stronger episodes for me because not only are you getting to really see, we're approaching the end, right? He's already announcing, like, who's close to being able to win, who absolutely has no chance in hell unless you're somehow an idiot Iruma who can bounce back unexpectedly. And to see where everyone's at and how everyone is just, they're hungry. Like, they were literally showing people, and I mean, there was some horror scenes in my opinion. Don't get distracted and don't get it twisted just because we have a colorful aesthetic. When we see our boy underneath a bush, like, shaking and hiding, as people have weapons, they're like, where are you? We want to see you. And I'm like, okay, what's going on here? There is literally this hunger for the points, and people are being left for dead. And hell, yes, you could argue, well, would they actually end up dead? There's a possibility if the rescue can't get there soon enough. But the fact that these things that could easily bite heads off and they're just stealing their points and running away with a grin, there is some twisted atmosphere about this show, and I like that. I like that rather than it just being like, hey, Iruma's going to be one of these shows where we have fun. We, instead of just being demonic and twisted, we make it this kid basically having a wholesome family life as he becomes Demon King. That's the overall idea. But the fact that they can still remind us they are still demons, and this is still the Netherworld. It may be a lot more wholesome than other anime's Netherworlds or hell-like environments, but it's still a hell-like environment that we're gonna really say that for school. This is a school test, all things considered. And the shit that is okay in this, I mean, you can't hit a student, but if you want to leave them strung up with a monster, absolutely go ahead and steal their points. And I'm like, how do you not love this show? Like, how could someone not just hear some concepts that this season is going for and say, oh shit, I'm gonna immediately jump aboard this show? And honestly, for the people who are sleeping on it, I feel for you because you are missing out on one of the most entertaining shows of not only last season, but of this season for sure. I'm very excited though because, I mean, I'm excited to see if the blood will come into play again or if we're just going to focus more on the bow side of things, because you could think, well, what would his blood really be useful for outside of making a vine grow as an escape route? But you could think of some traps, right? Imagine they're being chased and he can only use a couple of his arrows. I mean, if you can find more of those or anything that could maybe enhance it, right? Like, what if there's like some sort of like Venus flytrap in this forest and he uses his blood on it? Like, what if it becomes even bigger and attacks someone for them? Like, you can just start imagining some really ridiculous, crazy, if not violent shenanigans that Iruma could cause. Not necessarily trying to be a demon, but just in return, just trying to save his own skin. And then in return, people are like, holy shit, this dude's really going to become Demon King. Do you see the crazy things he's doing? I mean, it'll be interesting, right? But I really had fun. I had a grin on my face watching. I thought it was funny. I like the callbacks to the songs in terms of like how he knows of certain things. Like, oh, I learned this in school. And then we get the little recap of him doing his song and dance. Because, of course, Iruma always has song and dances. It's fantastic for it. But what a great episode, man. I'm really excited to see where the last stretch of this season is going to go. It's great to have it back. And hopefully that will be the only break, because obviously it was a planned break, but you never know with anime productions. Unexpected breaks do happen, so cross my fingers Iruma just continues strong, because I need more, and I'm excited for more. Thoughts and feelings yourself, though, down below. What did you think? What do you hope to see in future episodes? Do let me know. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here. You can consider supporting the Patreon. I got a bunch of live reactions going on over there, as well as video shoutouts, so do consider if you so wish. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.